Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 17 is here, guys. Regular season is almost done. Playoff spots, divisions are up for grabs, and maybe, if you're lucky, just maybe you are in your fantasy finals. Due to the holidays and me traveling very shortly, doing this podcast a day early. If lines move, if you watch or listen to the podcast, a couple days from now, lines may have moved, things may have changed. So just a heads up there. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. Just want to give everyone a big shout out for listening to me. If you new to the podcast, appreciate you guys. And my diehards. I know there's a lot of diehards out there from the start when we were just in a little one-bedroom apartment back in the day when I had my backdrop, system capping backdrop that I taped to my wall. We continue to climb, continue to get bigger. We want to get this podcast a lot bigger, though. I believe it deserves to be a lot bigger. So share it, like, review if you're listening to on Spotify and Apple. It is much appreciated. The upset and underdogs continue to hit, guys. Hopefully you've been tailing this all year. You would have made a good amount of money if you have been. 73% on the year on underdogs, guys. Last week, the four that I liked that I actually gave out, obviously one is just official, and it was the Chargers that got the job done, plus 120 over the Cowboys, and it was an easy blowout. Books were off on that. Dallas weren't playing anything. Chargers were playing great football coming into that game. That Dallas defense, guys, it's historically bad. It is absolutely terrible. It might be one of their worst defenses they've had in a very long time. Easy hit there on the Chargers, but all four I gave out. I like to give out multiple, and then come usually with a final one or two plays. We narrowed it down to Jags, Titans, Panthers, and Chargers. All of them hit outright. So hopefully you tailed all of those. Again, one just counts to the overall record, and we got to 73% hitting the Chargers on the year. Only a couple more weeks left, guys. Can we get this percentage even better? Difficult, but I'll be over 70% no matter what it seems. So another great year against the sports books in the underdog market. It's been the best market, to be honest with you guys. Other markets been up and down. Teaser up and down, and usually teaser market is up and down. If you can hit 500, 55%, 60% in the teaser market, you're doing well, because most of the teasers, plus 120 that I do. If you're just tailing the two and my two favorite, you're looking at minus 150, minus 125, depending where you're shopping around. However, I usually do three. So I'm about 500 in the teaser market. Teaser market hasn't been the best. And last week, what happened? The Lions, right? The Lions would technically won the game, but they called it back. 2 pass interferences in the end zone in the same drive. You just don't see it. 2 offensive pass interference in the end zone. Rare to see. Rare to see. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities. Currently handicapping the NFL. UFC and PGA will be back mid-January, so look out for that. It's a quieter time of the year, guys. I do look at the markets, the NHL and NBA markets, but very low volume. NBA, I only have a couple bets all year. NHL, maybe about 6 bets all year. So I don't bet them a lot. As I focus mainly on the NFL, UFC, and PGA. The rest of the markets have been up and down, like I mentioned, in the NFL this year. Spreads have been profitable. Player props up and down, around 500 in the player prop market. And yeah, there's been some surprises. My future markets are still pending, but the future market it may not be that great because I did have Ravens on the over. I did have Ravens to win the division. We'll see what happens there. I need Packers to win at least one of their last games. That was the best bet pending, over 9.5 wins. They blew it at the end. I thought that was going to cash against the Bears. And then Jordan Love got hurt, and just a lot of tough luck there, right? And this season has been kind of crazy, guys. Crazy season. Ravens, Lions, Chiefs. If you told me those three teams weren't going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, I would have said you're nuts. Right? Those are like top three teams to win the Super Bowl odds, guys. At the beginning of the year. Throw in the Bills as well. Maybe Eagles were around there too. But top five, three of the top five teams might not even make the playoffs. Wild. So it's been a strange year for sure. Definitely. Who had the Seahawks on top? Right? We'll get into the power rankings here shortly. It's time, guys. It's the Raven rant. We are bringing the Raven rant back. We had it too many times this year. And when you're 7-8, when a team were projected to win 11 plus games, it deserves many rants. It's crazy, guys. I've been a long-term fan of the Baltimore Ravens. I think you guys probably know that if you've been listening to me for a long time. I can do a whole 30-minute podcast on the rant, but we obviously will narrow it down here. Now, I'm going to mention, Lamar Jackson being hurt, right? As you can see the chart here, this is not career injuries. This is just in 2025. 5-6 different injuries he's had this year, guys. He's missed practice. Every Wednesday he's been sitting out for the past 2 months. He just banged up, and you can tell in his play. He's not running, so when he's not a threat to run, he's not going to be as much as a threat at QB. So that's one big issue. Lamar Jackson not being healthy, sure. But there's so many other issues, guys. It's not just that. The coaching. Coaching has been bad. I do believe they need a new voice in there. Harbaugh's been there forever. Bring in a new voice in there. He's made mistakes too. One big mistake in the last game against the Patriots, up 11 in the fourth. Derrick Henry did not touch the ball down the stretch against the Patriots, and he just ran for 120, and I do believe it was 2 touchdowns. How does that happen? If you're a head coach, you step in and say, give our best player the ball. No one wanted to tackle Derrick Henry. Yet they bring in Mitchell, who averaged 1.9 yards per carry. Mitchell's good in certain situations, explosive runs. But Derrick Henry, their linebackers were banged up in New England. They had no one to tackle him, and you don't bring him in. So John Harbaugh, I do believe, needs to go. Monken, new voice at offensive coordinator we also need a new defensive coordinator too. Zach Orr has not been great. They let Drake May just pick him apart. Guys like Williams making 40-yard catches. Stephon Diggs looked like the old Stephon Diggs. It's just not acceptable. And Ravens flock and Ravens Nation is calling out John Harbaugh and his team big time. All over the place. Even the reporters are asking John Harbaugh, how do you feel about your job in his interviews? So, yeah, it's not looking good that they make the playoffs. They're going to have to win outright, and Pittsburgh is going to have to lose both games. And then I believe they have a chance. They probably would win the division. I have to look at that. But Metcalf, out for both those games, it looks like. Bonehead move. He punched a fan. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was wild. So that's some hope. And Cleveland at home. Last time Pittsburgh won in Cleveland was 2021. Cleveland plays well at home. They almost beat the Bills last week. But then the Ravens are going to have to go to Green Bay, beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Now, Love might not be playing, so that could help. But Lamar Jackson might not be playing. Right? And then they're going to have to go to Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So I don't believe they get in, guys. And if they don't get in, big changes need to come in Baltimore. Let's look at the schedule this week, guys. A little different, right? Because of Christmas. We have 3 games on Christmas. 2 games on Saturday. And then the Sunday card along with the Monday nighter as well. We'll talk one Christmas game. It is the Lions versus Vikings. One Saturday game, Chargers versus Texans. And Browns versus Steelers. Lots on the line on that game. The matchups aren't that great this week, to be honest, guys. especially the Christmas card, right? That Lions-Vikings game maybe at the beginning of the year could have been a big game, but we'll still talk about it. It is the best game on Christmas Day. Let's do a power ranking update. And yes, the Seattle Seahawks are on top of the NFL. Who would have predicted that? Now, I thought Seattle would be good, probably a top 10 team, hanging around the top 10. That was my prediction on Seattle, making the playoffs, hovering around the wild card spot. Now they're aligned to win the division and have the best record in the NFL. Couldn't predict that, right? You couldn't predict that at the start of the year. Good team, yes, but not the top team in the NFL. They beat the Rams. They beat the top team in the NFL. They deserve to go to number 1. Rams number 2. Broncos take a big hit. The Jacksonville Jaguars are for real, guys. They're one of the best teams in the AFC right now. Again, a team I wasn't sure on coming into the season. It would be hard to be sure on that team. They're playing well. Defense stepping up. Trevor Lawrence looking like the prospect that everyone thought he would be. They're doing all this without Travis Hunter too, guys. With Travis Hunter, they were worse. So hats off to Jacksonville. I don't know how they would do in the playoffs when they get there, but interesting to see. Texans too, guys. Texans 7 in a row. They're hanging in the top 10. 49ers too, another big win. Watch out for these teams, guys, getting hot at the end of the year. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into these games. Christmas games this year aren't great, but we'll talk about it. Of course, you're going to be watching them. At least I'll be watching them. Maybe not fully committed to watching them, but it'll be on in the background with family. Let's talk at Lions -6 at Vikings, total 44.5. One of the biggest disappointments you have to say is the Lions. Right up there with the Ravens, right up there with the Chiefs. Now, I actually thought the Chiefs would take a step back and maybe not make the playoffs. So I'm not that surprised. I'm surprised how they're playing and their record, but I'm not surprised. I called Denver or Chargers to win the division at the start of the year. So no big surprise there. The bigger surprise is the Lions and Ravens. No idea whatsoever I thought this would happen. Zero shot if you asked me at the beginning of the year. But I liked them here in this spot. After I took them last week, I like them again this week. And that's betting 101. Don't be scared to go against the team you lost against, right? A lot of people will, I don't want to bet the Lions here this week because they burnt me last week. You can't bet like that, right? That's how you lose in long term. You have to be able to forget about the last week. And just like the team has to forget about what happened last week, right? Now, the Vikings, why I like this spot? For the Lions, obviously J.J. McCarthy, questionable to play. He has a hand injury, and it is on his throwing hand. I don't know if he'll play. And they have a lot of other injuries too, guys. D-line, O-line. They're banged up in Minnesota. So Lions need to win. Vikings out of the playoffs. Good spot here for the Lions to bounce back. Last week was a good spot as well, though, right? So, hey, can't be all in on it. Because the Lions have taken a step back, we have to stop thinking about the Lions at the beginning of the year and think how they really are this year. Their defense is terrible. They're banged up on defense. Their offense is still going to put up points. That's why I think they win this game. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings offense is good enough to put like 30 on Detroit, especially if J.J. McCarthy's not 100%. So that's why we like Lions here in the spot. Don't love the -6. Again, it's going to be a teaser option, the Lions this week. I'm going to do it, guys. I'm not going to be scared after they ruined the teaser market for me last week. Right? Gibbs just did not get going. If you had Gibbs in fantasy, I feel bad for you. You probably lost because he's what, a number 1 overall pick? First round pick, he should be. So if he's not going for you, probably lost your semifinals. Total 44. Lean the over, but definitely if McCarthy's not playing, you can't bet the over. You would have to bet the under there. Bozemer, I think his name is. The backup for Minnesota, terrible. Just not good at all. If he plays like Lions, even more, right? So yeah, Lions get the win. I do believe they have to If they want to have a chance to get in, they got to win outright, and Green Bay has to lose both games, I believe. So, a lot to ask. Like Lions and Ravens, similar situations. The percentage of making the playoffs are below 10%. So, we'll see what happens here, but we're going to be on the Lions this week. Texans at Chargers. This is a good game. Very good game. Two top 10 teams, right? Great game here on Saturday. It's going to be the Saturday highlight game. Both teams have been playing their best ball right now at the most important time. Texans have won 7 in a row. Chargers 4 and 7 of their last 8, guys. We were on the Chargers last week as the underdog, as you guys know. Back-to-back road wins for them. Chargers are getting healthier, even though the O-line's still banged up. And they're back home for the holidays. Texans didn't look great last week. A little concerning against the Raiders, guys. Raiders almost beat them. 21-23. Texans won that game. They were 13.5 favorites. So that is concerning. Now, you play down to competition. A lot of teams do that. They play down to their competition. It happens at times. You know, I have Raiders probably the worst team in the NFL. But they put up a fight. That's what makes NFL so great. All right? The worst team in the NFL could beat the best team if you don't show up. This Houston team, though, which was surprising because they were one of the top 3 teams. Then they moved down to 5, but Genty ran all over them. It was wild. They had one of the best rush defense in the NFL. Genty went for 128 yards, added 60 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. Fantasy darling for your semifinals if you had him. And he's been up and down right on the year. I'm leaning the Chargers here. I like the spot better for the Chargers at home. I think they're playing a little better football. And that's mainly due to the Raiders game. But the thing is with Houston, their D can just shut you out. If they just shut you out, they can put up just enough points in the 20 range to win games. 2017, 21-18, like something along those lines, right? That's how good their defense is, right? Their defense, if their defense didn't get a pick 6, they lose that game. So that defense is really good. I think it's the best in the NFL right now. And yeah, they could go on the road and beat the Chargers. That's why you see a -2 Chargers. Difficult game to handicap. Is it going to make my client card? Probably not. But for podcast purposes, we're going to look at the Chargers. -2 at home. They got to keep up with Denver, too, to win the division. Houston, I guess, with Jags as well. I get that spot. But I just like the spot better here for the Chargers. I think the Chargers can put up points on this Houston defense. Herbert's been exceptional. As of late, Trey Harris playing well, guys. The rookie's starting to get going. Obviously, the other weapons there as well. Hampton's back. The O-line, a little banged up. That's the only issue that can be concerning. And Houston can get to the QB. So, again, don't love this. Love the game. I'll be watching this game, of course. But Chargers going to be the play here. Steelers -4 at Browns. Total 34. Why I wanted to talk about this game. Again, Sunday, not great games. There's that Buffalo Eagles game, but we always talk about Buffalo and Eagles. Steelers -4 Browns. Total 34, guys. Some weather issues out there, it seems. So that's why we're seeing that. But we're also seeing no DK Metcalf for this game. He's suspended. That's a huge loss for the Steelers. Who do they have? Who do they have at wide receiver? Austin? And then a couple tight ends? It's bad. It's thin out there, guys. But I also wanted to talk about this game. Myles Garrett is in line for breaking the sack record in a single season. Crazy. I think he gets it. I think their defense shows up at home in Cleveland like they did against Buffalo last week and cover this 4. Steelers could win in a close game. I wouldn't be shocked the Browns win this game. They play Pittsburgh really good actually at home over the years. Pittsburgh haven't won in Cleveland. Remember, they play them every year, same division, since 2021. Even Cleveland plays Ravens really good at home. Cleveland's just a better team at home, guys. Rugged, tough, cold place to play in Cleveland. Now, Judkins out for the year. Big loss at running back. He was having a breakout year. That's tough. I would have liked it a little more, to be honest, especially on the money line. If Jenkins was playing, tough loss. Bad injury, too. I feel for him. But yeah, Pittsburgh must win game 2. They need to win this game. They got to win at least one of the next 2 games. One of the last game, week 18, is against Baltimore. Again, though, Baltimore loses to Green Bay. It doesn't matter what happens in this game or week 18. So Pittsburgh controls their destiny. Yeah, we're going to take +4 Browns. The only thing is, you're kind of backing on Sanders. I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders needs to have a huge game. He needs to just be serviceable. Don't turn over the ball a bunch of times. Even though he turned it over twice last week and they only lost by 3. But their defense, right? That's how good their defense can be at times, Browns. So if their defense shows up, they can win this game outright, guys. And I do believe it wants to show up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, divisional foe. Myles Garrett wants to get that sack record. That brings the whole defense together, guys. The whole team together to try to accomplish that. Because, again, it's not just him getting the sacks. It's a team effort. So give me the Browns +4. Teasers. Going back to the Lions. One sec, guys. Sorry. Lions and Bengals. Bengals at home against Arizona. Arizona is so bad. It looks like Burrow wants to play. He showed it in Miami. So Lions, Bengals, 2 favorite. Teaser, 7-point options just to win the game. Underdogs. Can we continue to roll? Disclaimer, don't love anything this week. Let's be honest, when I usually say this, it's 50-50. It doesn't go the best at times. So I'm just being honest with you guys, right? If I don't love anything, I'll be honest. Chargers really liked them last week. Gave it out with no conviction, right? No problem. This week, we're going to look at some games that caught my eye off the bat. And then we'll pick one. Texans are live. I'm still leaning the Chargers. But that defense and pass rush is good enough to win this game. Eagles at Buffalo. That's a 50-50 game, slightly leaning more to Buffalo. One, because it's at home. Issues with weather I'm already seeing. Snow, wind. It favors Buffalo. Yes, Philly, cold weather team, but you just don't see, Eagles playing a ton in the snow. I don't recall it at least, but Buffalo does, right? So if it's snowing, obviously wait till game time or game day to see the weather. It's hard to predict out 5 days out. But I saw the forecast, wind, almost 20 miles an hour, along with snow. So it favors Buffalo, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if Eagles win that game. That neutral field is 50-50 game, so keep that in mind. And then Bears. Bears at 49ers. They can win that game, even though, again, I'm liking the 49ers. That's why I'm not able to get to that. Love what 49ers are doing right now. That's going to be battle for the power ranking spot. I think it's 7. I have Bears. 49ers 8. So nice battle there. Probably should have talked about that game. Call me crazy, guys. We're going to take a shot on the Browns here. Everything I talked about. Obviously, no DK Metcalf. That's huge. The Browns' defense. I think it shows up. They get a win. Again, Pittsburgh has struggled in Cleveland. Last time they won was 2021. That's going to be the play. Eagles not too far behind, but Browns will be the official play. Eagles second favorite as an underdog. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Happy holidays. I'm going to go right now, leave to the families for a week, pretty much, a little less than a week, but 4 or 5 days. So that should be fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy the holidays with your friends, family, pets, whatever you guys have. I'll be here next week, like always, and then UFC will be back. A little longer break, about 4 or 5 weeks. The UFC's back, so you'll see me anyways here for the playoffs and important time of this season. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this week.